comment. Right. It's opening. Camera's rolling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ade Adepitan, MBE. I must call you by your full, your full title.
Thank you, sir.
It's been a while.
It has been a while, actually.
Yes. The last time I sat down to interview you, your dad was alive. It was the day you collected your MBE at Buckingham Palace.
That's 2005, 11 years ago.
It is
October the 25th, 11 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. How time flies.
How time has flown, man.
Yes.
That's what happens when you're busy, isn't it?
It is indeed. Let me ask you, first things first, what are you up to these days?
Busy, still working in the media, the sport stuff, as that's slowed down a little bit, so I'm getting old now. I can't be playing sport all my life. I have to do other stuff, so I'm working for Channel 4, working for BBC, so I'm freelance. I'm doing a lot more documentaries. I think I've made something like 10 or 12 documentaries in the last 3 or 4 years. Working on the One show, preparing for the Paralympics in Rio.
Okay, we'll come to that soon.
Yeah, so it's busy. It's good.
First, let me ask you, I remember a few years ago you went to Nigeria regarding this polio.
Yes.
You're trying to, stop it.
Wow.
How far are we gone now? Where's awareness? How far are we gone? What's up with that now?
I think last year Nigeria officially declared themselves as polio free.
Okay.
And whether or not it's true, I don't know. You know what these statistics are like and stuff. I think in order for a country to be regarded as officially polio free, they have to go a year. It's either a year or 2 years without any cases of polio. But yes, as of last year, there was polio free, and hopefully, in a small way, myself and my team who went out to Nigeria in 2013 to make the documentary about polio, hopefully we had a tiny part to play in that.
Okay. 2005, obviously a lot of people may or may not know, you were part of that team that went to Singapore when they said London 2012 Olympics and Paralympics. Wow, what a feeling. 4 years later, what do you think the legacy is of that?
Since the Paralympics, the legacy, that's a big question, isn't it? The L word, everyone always talks about that. What has happened? What has been left? What are the what are the repercussions of 2012? I think off the back of 2012, it's not simple. It's not just one thing. The main part of the legacy, I would say, is in terms of perceptions for disability sport, Paralympic sport. I think people are more aware of it. It's seen it's got a much higher profile than it did have in my days. People know who the Paralympians' names are. People know who I am now. I mean, in the past it was just, it's that guy from the BBC One Idol that does the dancing. Now people actually attempt to say my name, Ade Adepitan, that guy, it's that brother. So for me, it's increased that awareness, but also, people now know who Ellie Simmons is, Paralympic swimmer, Johnny Peacock, David Weir. If you rewind the clock 5, 6, 7 years ago, people didn't know who those people are, and they also respect Paralympic sport in a different way. When I was growing up, I'd never heard of disability sport. It wasn't until I was about 12, 13 that I even realised it was possible. So that is one of the legacies. Another legacy is that I think for disabled kids who are born with a disability, they now feel there are more opportunities for them. Whether or not they are, I think they are. There are more opportunities than there were in my day. Maybe not enough. Maybe not as much as they should be, but there definitely are. And I think if you're disabled, it's a much better time to be growing up and living in the UK than it was when I was growing up. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the Paralympics. Rio 2016. What should we look forward to? Who are the names coming through?
Coming through. Our wheelchair basketball team, the men's team, are strong. They're European champions. They've won it 3 times in a row. So, you know, the question is whether they can step up from winning in Europe to winning a world title.
Win an Olympic title?
Yeah,
or a medal?
a medal. But I think they should be going for gold. I think they're good enough to go for gold. Yeah, they've got players, a young guy called, well, he's not young anymore, but Gaz Chowdhury, Simon Brown. They've got Philip Cochrane, all new young players who are hungry to go out there and win a global title. Also, I think the rest of the world are moving backwards when GB are moving forwards. So for the basketball team, there's progression. The women's team is going to be tougher, but they've got potential to win a medal. Then when you're talking about the athletics, there's the usual suspects, Johnny Peacock, but he's going to find it tough. Johnny Peacock was T44 100 metre champion, Olympic champion, Paralympic champion, but he's going to find it really tough because Richard Brown, the American, who's running phenomenal speeds in 100 metres. I think he holds the world record at the moment for the T44. But also got to watch out for Alan Oliveira, who is the Brazilian, and he was the guy who beat Oscar Pistorius in the 200 metres back in the Olympics, back in the Paralympics, and he was the first person to beat Oscar Pistorius for 8 years. And it's going to be his home games. So at home in front of a real crowd, that should be incredible. Got a young girl called Maria Lau. I think she's 15. She's in the T35, 100 and 200 metres. There's Sophie Hahn, who's fantastic. She's T38. The GB have got a really, really strong team. Perhaps maybe a little bit stronger than 2012, actually. And this is all... that actually is part of the legacy from 2012. A lot of these athletes who are competing, Maria, Sophie, Mo Jomny, who's T40, the T53 wheelchair racer, they all came about after watching London 2012. They saw London 2012, they saw how the prestige the athletes got, and they wanted to be there, and now they're going to come to Rio, and I think they'll be superstars.
Wonderful. What does, disability training, what does it involve? Let's share that with the viewers.
I think it's exactly the same as able-bodied athletes. You have to be committed. Now everyone is professional in the world. Certainly in wheelchair basketball, they've got a huge amount of professional athletes. Everyone in the national team it trains full-time. Even when I was training 6 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Wow.
It's a full-time job. You have to eat, sleep, drink the sport. There's no time for sleeping. There's no time for messing about, because your window as an athlete, as a Paralympic athlete, is very short, and you have to make the most of that time. So, every one of those Paralympic athletes that you'll watch in 2016 be seriously dedicated, and they would have trained as much, if not harder, than any Olympic athlete you see out there.
Now we'll also have, the Olympics, with people like Usain Bolt and that. What are you looking forward to in that as well?
Well, the Olympics will be great in terms of Usain Bolt has said it's his last games. And obviously, if it's going to be his last games, he's going to want to go out with a bang. He's going to want to defend his title. I think he'll be the first, if he does, he'll be the first athlete or male athlete to win the 100 and 200 in 3 back-to-back Olympics, Beijing all the way to Rio. That's an incredible legacy.
Stunning.
Yeah, and you know what he's like. His personality is going to be all over those games. But our British athletes will be strong as well. Mo Farah, he's going to want to defend his title. He's just broken world record this year as well. You also have Jessica Ennis will be there as well. But don't forget, fingers crossed, hopefully the Kenyans will be there. But David Rudisha, he'll be out there as well. It's running in the 800 metre years. It's going to be a wonderful spectacle, and it's going to be in Rio. It's going to be in Brazil. I think it's the first time it's been in South America, the Olympics and Paralympics. It was in Mexico, which is Central America, but that was '68. You know, all these years later, now it's in Brazil, and I feel they really think it's their time. South America thinks it's their time to shine on the world. They already had the World Cup for the football, and I think they're going to make it a wonderful celebration. I hope that the Brazilians can embrace the Paralympics as much as we did in London. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Olympics will be special for them, but I hope they can do the same, because it's really important that they do the same, not just for the Paralympics itself, but also for the disabled community in Brazil and in South America.
Sadly, with every Olympics, we always get a negative story. This time it's Zika, as well as some of the people who have, worked on this project, the workers in the stadium who've not been paid. Let's start with the Zika.
Yeah, God, that's a spanner in the works, isn't it? Zika. It's really hard to say. I mean, to come up with anything about Zika other than, look, it's down to each individual and each individual team to decide whether they feel it's right for them to go out there. I'm taking advice from, Channel 4, who I'm working with, and also I'm listening out on the news and stuff. I've got to get some vaccinations. I've got to have some injections. I think potentially I'm probably supposed to have the flu vaccination, and just taking precautions to stay out of areas where they have mosquitoes. I don't think it's going to be that season, but yeah, it's still a problem. It's still a problem. WHO, the World Health Organization, have said that it's safe. The IOC is saying that it's safe. We should trust in those governing bodies. That's why they're elected. And if they say they feel it's okay, then I'm going to take that risk.
I know it's not a joke, but I want to add some humor here. If you've survived in Nigeria, I don't think the mosquitoes are quite ready for you, are they?
I know what you mean. Yeah, in Nigeria, you have to deal with everything. Tiny mosquito is not going to cause me a little problem, but you know what? It's a changing world, and there's new viruses that are coming out that our bodies are not immune to, and none of us should. I don't think we should take it lightly, but we should also. You can leave your house tomorrow and get run over, so we can't be afraid of everything.
Right. You grew up in Newham here. Your house, or shall I say your family home, is just like a stone throw, literally a stone throw from the stadium.
Yeah.
Now, you witnessed the Olympics, the Paralympics, and a team dear to your heart, because I know you're a Hammer, a West Ham fan.
Come on,
they're moving inside that stadium. Can you believe that? And what are your thoughts going forward? What do you hope for your Hammers next season?
It's incredible, isn't it? It's incredible. It's incredible what's happened to Newham, what's happened to Stratford. I sometimes have to pinch myself when I look around here and look at the changes that have happened because of those games. And part of that change is what's happening with West Ham. I'm really looking forward to West Ham moving into the Olympic Stadium. That stadium, the atmosphere, it was incredible in there. I know they're taking off the top tier, so it's going from 80,000 down to 60,000, which is fine. All the people who say we can't fill it, you're having a laugh. Do you know the West Ham support? We go into Kent, we go into Essex. West Ham is massive.
I've been to Upton Park a few times, and what I can say about the Upton Park fans is they're very passionate. They're very boisterous.
Yeah.
When the team's doing well, they'll let you know. And when they're not doing well, they will let you know as well.
But through thick and thin, Hammers always support the team. When we drop down into the Championship, we still got full stadium. Whether we were playing Man United or whether we were playing Accrington Stanley, there will still be 35,000, passionate Hammers. in there, and now it's going to hopefully be up to 60,000. I bought my season ticket about 4 months ago, and I was lucky to get my season ticket because they showed me on the screen there was very few left.
You've stolen my thunder.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next question, as in, have you got your season ticket?
Yeah, I got my season ticket. My new, I've got West Ham's new kit for next season. I'm excited, and we've got one of the most exciting players in the Premiership, probably in the world at the moment, Dimitri Payet.
Can you sing that song for me?
Yeah, we've got Payet. I don't think you understand. He's Slaven's man. He's better than Zidane. Dimitri Payet. We've got Payet. He's Slaven's man. He's better than Zidane. We love him.
So, seriously speaking, what do you hope for them? Is it Champions League? Is it just
Champions League?
What's it called?
Yeah.
Europa League.
No, I mean this season we're in the Europa League, but I think next season the hope is for Champions League.
Okay.
We need to keep building. It's about progression. We've got a big stadium. Now that stadium's built for winning championships. It's built in mind getting into the Champions League and playing on the biggest stage and attracting the best players in the world.
I've got a question for you. Everybody has a prize. How on earth are you going to keep hold of Payet? How are you going to keep him? I think everyone wants him.
Yeah, I mean, everyone wants him, but at the end of the day, no one wanted him when he until he came to West Ham. So I think sometimes there are some players who are loyal. He comes from a small island. He comes from the Marshall Islands, and he knows what it's like to come from a small background, and to have, a small loyal group of fans following you. I think he'll stay. I think he'll stay at least for a season with us, another season. And it's all about how successful we are. If we're successful, he's going to stay. Why not? If you've got a good manager, which Slaven Bilic is a good manager, you've got a really good core nucleus of young players coming up as well. You've got a great fan base. He's getting 120,000 or whatever plus smackaroonies a week. That will also make him think of staying there. And he's living in East London. What's up with that? It's all good.
It's all good. Okay, West Ham is known as the Academy of Football, and they produce the likes of Martin Peters, Sir Jeff Hurst, Bobby Moore. Please share with me, what are your thoughts on this England team?
Yeah, it was disappointing. I watched the Iceland game, and one of the big problems with England, and I didn't think people always talk about it, and I wasn't expecting it to be so glaringly obvious in these championships. It was just the lack of leadership, and it was leadership on the pitch, because you could see against Iceland, right, that when things weren't going right, the guys didn't feel to me like there was a plan or a structure, and I don't think that was the manager's fault, because I'm sure any manager worth their salt had a plan, and he probably gave the plan to the players. It's whether or not the players were prepared or believed in that plan enough when their backs were against the wall to implement it when it was on the pitch. Whether you agree with that plan or not is another question. Whether you agree with where he put the players or what sort of structure is another question. The first and foremost thing you've got to have is those players have got to implement that plan on the pitch. And in order to implement it, you need to have leaders on the pitch who are saying, look, when things are not going well, we will carry that out. And part of this is, I think leadership and leadership skills comes from adversity, right? People who are underdogs, people who have always had to struggle and always had to fight, you learn what it is to be a leader. You know what it is to have to perform at your best all the time, because you know if you don't perform at 100%, you lose. And I think that's another part of England's problem, is for a long time they've never perceived themselves as the underdog. Different managers have different ways of doing it. Jose Mourinho creates a siege mentality. He makes his players believe that the world is against them. He makes his players believe that everyone doesn't think they're great. I mean, how are people like Drogba and Lampard and Terry, Ashley Cole, all of these players that he's had in the team, how they they know they're good players. But Mourinho gets that little bit extra out of them because he uses that tactic to say the world's against him. Wenger has his style. Ferguson has their style. And it's all about bringing out the leadership qualities in those players on the pitch. And that's what they didn't have. They weren't hungry enough.